Hola a todos y todas, el científico sin fórmulas os saluda hoy desde la MIT al Massachusetts Institute of Technology para traeros la historia de una persona muy especial, la profesora Sara Seager, que está buscando planetas habitables. Y es que sabemos que existen más de 300 billones de estrellas, más de 3.400 exoplanetas y unos 42 planetas en la zona habitable, pero hasta el momento no hemos conseguido encontrar ese planeta al que podríamos ir a vivir algún día.
My whole goal is to find another Earth. But there's so many stars out there, hundreds of billions in our galaxy alone, and we think there are hundreds of billions of galaxies. But it's funny because even though there are just vast numbers of stars, we can only study carefully the planets orbiting stars extremely close to us.
Yes.
And just to put it in context, because it's good that you're good with words, but
Yes.
extremely close in the context of the universe is still incredibly far. You know, a few light years or 10 light years, it's still trillions and trillions of miles away.
Yes.
But you know, there's a lot going on in this field. I mean, we think we know of planets that might be habitable already. They're just not what we would expect. They're planets orbiting very small, very cold, high radiation output stars.
Yes.
And we don't really know anything about them yet, just that they exist and that they might be getting the right amount of radiation. I was a child, I guess I was about 7 years old or something, and you know, kids wake up very early, and in those days we just had this TV with the analog controller. It was like this box. I don't know if you ever saw that. It has these buttons and you just press every button. There was the same thing on every channel, and it turned out, looking back, that was the Voyager launch, when they launched the spacecraft that was going to go to our outer solar system and look at the giant planets. But like, every channel had it, and I couldn't figure out why, and it just replayed the launch over and over again. You know, the kids in the morning, you just want to watch a cartoon. Then later, when I went on my first camping trip, again with my dad, and by the way, that was his first and last camping trip. He wasn't really into that. We had a babysitter one summer. He was a single dad, and we had this babysitter. His name was Tom. He was 14 years old, and he claimed that we should go camping. So he borrowed all his family's stuff, and he took us. He figured out how to get us to go camping. But I remember being in the tent and waking up in the middle of the night, and I walked outside the tent, outside the forest, and I looked up, and wow. There were just so many stars. I was like, wow, I never knew this existed. Like, how come no one told me about this? It was just absolutely breathtaking. And I just saw all those stars, and I just couldn't understand what was out there. I think those little snapshot memories stayed with me my whole life. Here at MIT, we are part of the Magellan telescopes in Chile. However, a lot of our data comes from space, above the blurring effects of Earth's atmosphere. You know what a good analogy is? If you ever go swimming in a lake or a swimming pool, do you ever like look up and like you can't see anything, it's all blurry and weird? Well, that's what our atmosphere does. When we try to look at the stars and planets, it makes everything kind of all blurry. So the best place for telescopes is in space, above the blurring effects of Earth's atmosphere. And in this case, the Hubble Space Telescope and its so-called infrared cousin, the Spitzer Space Telescope, provide incredible data for exoplanets. What happens is some planets are very specially aligned, and the planet goes in front of the star as seen from the telescope. And although we can't spatially resolve the star and planet, the starlight shines through the atmosphere, just like shining a flashlight through a fog. And we're able to see what's in the atmosphere imprinted on the starlight. Yeah, so it's actually pretty amazing that we can do this because the atmosphere is tiny. It's like the skin on an onion. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to see that against the backdrop of this really big star, who I dedicated the Exoplanets book to all of the people who have big dreams and want to make them happen. Okay. So the spirit of the book, although it is technically oriented for scientists, is think big, learn what you need to, and try to follow your dream.